We are here for episode 3 of Shop Rescue with PMA, Preece Machining and Assembly. I'm very excited to be here. The first episode, as you guys know, kind of filled with drama. Second episode, a whole lot of hope and growth and potential and excitement. The third episode, all about success and how did we get here and how can other shops get here. So let's head inside EBITDA Growth Systems and find out how these young guys are doing. Welcome to Shop Rescue.
So, we have, I think the most important thing in everything that we do is to meet our mission statement. Our mission is impacting lives through improving business performance. So, as we look at this whole Shop Rescue project over the last 6 months, how do you think we've met that?
Well, I think typically we think of that mission statement. I think when people hear our mission statement, they think it's profit oriented, and obviously we're a for-profit business, so we need to make money. But really, our mission statement is around changing the lives of people, right? And so, good gracious, I mean, for Nick and Tanner, their lives have changed significantly. I mean, Nick's wife is like, I'm not even believing what I'm seeing. So, yeah, I mean, did we accomplish our mission statement in this effort? It exceeded my expectations. And, you know, I was worried about all of this. Those guys are so smart. They're so committed. You coaching them and giving them the tools and them adopting those behaviors, it is beautiful.
It worked, didn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
I know it's working because Tanner kept calling me on Saturdays. You want to golf?
Yeah.
Go on the mountain, go snowboard. You want to go with us?
Yeah, those guys have so much energy. It's hilarious.
Like, you want to go? I'm like, oh, you guys aren't working? No, we're taking the day off. We're going to go do this. And so it was, I was seeing information and just objective information that, hey, they have time. And I was wondering, Gunner's Nate.
The dog, yeah.
The dog. I was hoping Gunner wasn't going to bite Nick or actually get to know him a little bit better.
Yeah. It's been very rich for them, and I know it's been rich for you, and then doing this series, it's made it very rich for me, and a real affirmation for our approach to business, our business model. The money comes when we're doing the right things, and our favorite saying these days is, how you do anything is how you do everything. And our mission statement is our North Star for how we do everything. And
it's in the coaching reviews are talking, the financials are reflecting of really good numbers, really good percentages. Their bottom line net profit has doubled in the last 6 months. Their gross margin is up 20% in the last 6 months. From what I'm seeing in the coaching calls, they're about 40 to 50% less active actually behind a machine, and they're working on the business, not in the business all the time.
Mm-hmm.
So we're seeing a lot of data in the coaching calls. It's actually trending in the right way. They basically put together a September that was 50% higher than their capable throughput in 3.5 weeks.
Did they outsource some of that, or is that all in-house?
That was all in-house. They got a lot of work and they got it through. So not just the numbers, but their sheer amount of capacity has grown, I would say, almost 50 to 75% in the numbers from the coaching calls.
Yeah.
And then the activities, and there's not the strife between them on the calls that there were in the beginning. So it's impacting lives financially, time. I can't wait to go over there and see them, and get Tony in here and be there. But the initial information, everything, all the indicators, we're meeting our brand promise, or we're not just meeting our brand promise. We've met that too, but we're meeting our mission statement.
So Tony ought to get here soon, and I'll bet you that dude is decked out, man.
He's always. Did you hear about this new shoe? This dude's got some new shoes for the gun show.
What do you mean?
Oh, dude,
Like
he's got some
his
kicks.
show?
Oh yeah. And he's proud of it. Oh, look, here comes this
Again,
nigga.
gentlemen, how are we?
Good
Good to see
Good
you.
to see you.
Good to see you, man.
Yeah, you got on the sneakers.
Look,
I love
check out the shoes. I told you. We have the gun show shoes by Vans. I love it.
This is Shop Rescue.
Hi, my name is Alex Renner. I'm an implementation project manager at Paperless Parts, the leading quoting and estimating software for manufacturers. For the little guy, really what we're all about doing is setting up a process that's repeatable, putting guardrails in place so that a shop is gonna make money on the jobs that they do win, be able to filter out the jobs that maybe might not be the right fit for them, and at the end of the day, save time and drive more profitability for their business. I'm truly bought into the mission. It was when I saw the company, it really swayed me to take that step, and getting to see the light bulbs connect for our customers, see them give us accolades for how much time, money, savings they're generating with paperless. That's what keeps me ticking in this job.
Gentlemen, I'm so excited to be here. We're working on the third part of an amazing trilogy, Shop Rescue. Episode 1 was full of drama. I mean, let's be honest. The starting point of this journey was not easy for everyone involved. Maybe more enjoyable for me, actually, from the outside looking in and presenting this whole thing. But the start of it was really intriguing, not only for myself, but for the audience as well. And then we moved into the world of hope. We had the lovely wife on camera of Nick. We had Nick and Tanner starting to smile a little bit more. And we have a lot of dreams. All of us have a lot of dreams. And most people, I think, sometimes get suffocated with work, and we get drowned by work, and we find ourselves so involved that we don't see outside of that. And that, from my understanding, looking from when we first started this months and months ago to now, I can see that type of positioning starting to break free. Now, we're here. We're now hopefully getting to that successful area, but I want to hear from you guys. Did we make it? Did we get to the success? Did Nick and Tanner do what we had hoped this whole time?
Well, I have to tell you, it's tracking with my trepidation. My trepidation matched, I think, Nick and Tanner's trepidation. Like, can we get there from here? Dave was always confident that we could, but from the beginning, loved the guys, but I just wasn't quite sure, with their size and where they were at the time. Just a shop that made really difficult parts all the time.
And wanted them all the time.
And wanted them all the time. I didn't know that we could get them there. So I had some trepidation. They had some trepidation. Dave, we're good. And so by the time we did the second of the series, I was like, okay, maybe we can get there. And those guys were like,
maybe we can get there.
Yeah. And so, along that journey, I think Dave has been coaching them. And of course, when we get together and we talk about our clients, what's the status? How are things going? He's only had good things to share.
Well, Dave, let's talk about that coaching, because I obviously interrupted you on the whiteboard, talking about the whiteboard and having that conversation and just barging in and coming across that. So what has been some of the coaches' strategies? How have you worked through some of the obstacles that may have come up over the last few months to help them get to where you knew they could be and they wanted to be?
Well, I think our coaching process, we've seen it dozens of times. And when you apply our process step by step, we've seen companies go from A to B and being able to achieve what they really want to achieve, what they hope for. So the first thing we really look for is somebody that wants to listen, somebody that has a hunger for success and is willing to take some outside advice. Because if you don't have that, you can't get anywhere. Mm-hmm. And Nick is the kind of guy that he's cerebral. So he likes to think about things and stew on them for a minute, and then, okay, if they make sense, he does it. Tanner's the kind of guy where it's like, okay, if this makes sense, okay, let's do it. Why didn't we do this 5 minutes ago, right? So it's like, check, number one. Number two, got to make sure that they have good quality parts, that they make good quality stuff, because you can't grow a business with junk, with bad processes, with bad quality. You can't. So, and they make good parts. They're making parts on time, making difficult parts. and they're smart and they want to listen. So they checked all those boxes. So we really drilled down into what's your marketing and sales process, how are you getting awareness? And then once it gets in the shop, how do you process the jobs through the shop? And how do you track them to make sure it's right? And then from there, who on staff is ready to pick those things up and move them forward to where you don't have to do everything? And then on the financial side, how do you measure your success? And all that data is, people are like, that's just data. Well, that data tells you what to do next month and what to do next month and what to do next month. And they kept trending to, okay, we'll listen and apply this. We'll listen and apply this. And so it went from skeptical, kind of like, shop rescue, I don't really feel like I need rescued, to okay, this is working, to, hey, you want to golf on the weekend, to, hey, I just took Thanksgiving off. I'm like, because when we go there, when we get there, I think we're visiting tomorrow, we'll see, I want to hear it from them, but I'm seeing all the data around what's happening with their business trending up month over month over month because they're listening and they're taking it, and we adjust. Hey, I give them some advice. They say, hey, we've tried some of this. Well, let's modify that a little bit because it's their business, right? They gotta want to do it. I'm giving them the best advice I can, and they take it and they run with it. And it's been really neat. We have a very specific process that we run that's very catered to every individual company, and we've seen it so much that I knew it would work because we've watched it work for years.
Yeah, but we had to make it work while they were pulling their lip over their forehead because they were implementing a new ERP system.
How's that work?
Yeah, it's hard. It hurts.
I mean,
they were implementing, their utilization software, the Datanomics tool. They were implementing ProShop. I mean, they were implementing all these big game changers in the midst of, the very
initial thing. That's right. They jumped in the beginning. But the one thing, the biggest hurdle we had to get through is they needed to understand what their cost was. And that's one of the biggest hurdles we fly through with all of our clients.
Absolutely.
It isn't that they need to just take their pricing and jack their pricing way up and magically make money. That's not it at all. The game is you need to understand exactly what every minute costs you. And so we drilled down. We have paperless parts, right? And we were able to put in the system to where those numbers were accurate. You got in ProShop, got to put all those numbers in there accurate. That way when you quote something and you put a margin on top of it, you know what that margin should be. Hey, I need to make this much money. And that way at the end of the day, that's how much money they made. So we were able to really establish this is exactly my cost. And then this is what the market will bear for this. And some jobs are a little skinnier, right? But at least they know what their floor was. Before they didn't know what their floor was, and they were accidentally lowering their floor. And the only way to overcome lowering your floor is to work a whole bunch more hours. So they work their 8 hours, right? And they give another 8 for free to compensate for having a floor that's too low. And that's what drove them to work so many hours and just never have time off because they couldn't. If they took their foot off the brake for a second, they would just run out of cash. Mm-hmm. So I think in the last call, I think their cash is 5 or 6 times greater than it was day one. That's what they're sitting on today compared to what they were 6 months ago. So
and they require less top-end revenue to get to the same operating profit because their gross margins are growing.
How many shops out there, guys, do you think go through very similar situations? I mean, when we first started this journey, we talked about the possibility, the potentials of how this show might affect and inspire so many other people out there. And we came across a conversation that seemed to be either rippled or mirrored or however echoed, whatever adjective you want to use, that has been seen where there are so many great machinists out there. I mean, machinists are incredible and they'll work at a job and feel like they either deserve more or can do it on their own, whatever route emotionally takes them to starting their own machine shop, right? And they get to that machine shop and they are making some of the most difficult parts on the planet. They're able to machine, and then we have to talk about the business side of things, the front end and the back end, to make sure the quality is there, to make sure shipping is taken care of, to make sure service and customer service and phone calls and follow-ups are all there. The quoting, as you guys have both just talked about. How many shops out there do you think go through very similar situations that could use an EBITDA Growth Systems, maybe hop on this show, or even will just be inspired by watching it, thinking, I can implement some of these partners as well, some of these companies that can allow me to just realize more information without having theoretical ideas or tribal knowledge going through my shop of what might be happening?
So I'm a tool and die maker, so let's talk machine shops specifically. Mike and I in the last 4 years have probably been in about 1,000 shops between our clients and other shops we visited and tours. And I would say 80% of those have a disparity from what they say is their cost and what is their real cost. Understand, because that's the foundation of everything. It's how much does it cost me on an hour by hour basis to run my shop. So, and there's machine shops. I believe there's like 27,000 machine shops in our country, in the United States. So with that said, I would say 80% of those.
That might be modest, because
That might be modest.
it's in our experience that firms are somewhere between -5 in terms of operating profit, -5% and 5%. That 10% swing, some are at 0. And Dave and I really feel like a machine shop should be at 20% or greater. So that's the opportunity for small to medium machine shops out there, if they can employ a system that makes them have the right behaviors from a business acumen standpoint. There's just tremendous wealth to be generated.
And I'm really biased about our data. There are a lot of organizations out there, a lot of articles out there that send surveys and say, fill out your profitability. Well, you're not sure what that is. In fact, some business owners aren't really sure what they're filling out. Some of them really are really astute and they fill it out very well. But we're at the point where we're looking at P&Ls, we're looking at tax returns, we're looking at exactly what's going on. We're behind the curtain well enough to where I can kind of sniff out some of that data isn't the most accurate data in the industry. So we've been able to take our hundreds of clients and look at those data points and say, this is really, so when he says -5 to 5%, that's data that we know, that we've held in our hand, that we've looked at. This isn't a survey coming in. This is something we're dealing with somebody's CPA, we're dealing with somebody's bookkeeper, we're dealing with somebody's accountant, and we're seeing exactly what it says. And we're helping them straighten out their chart of accounts and straighten out their finances to where they know what the score is. Because if you don't know what the score is, you can't go anywhere. You have to have a great attitude, but you have to know what the score is. It's like playing a football game in the fourth quarter and you're down by 7, and you don't know what play to run because you don't know that you're in the fourth quarter, right? It's hard to play a soccer game when you're down by 1 goal and you have 2 minutes on the clock. Well, I don't even understand the clock in soccer. Just goes it does whatever.
You're really going to do this to me on camera while we're recording? Thanks for that, by the way. So with that being said, we could probably talk about this all day, and the audience probably would enjoy learning from us, but we want them to also reach out. However, I think it's important that we go ahead and head over to Preece and talk to Tanner and talk to Nick and talk to, one second, Elaine, right?
Elena.
Elena. And talk to Elena and see what their truth is, to see if what we think is true is actually true. Let's be the video version of all of these implementations of the pro shops and Datanomics and paperless parts. Let's go see the truth. Can we do that? Are we allowed to fly on or walk on over there, drive on over there? However are we going to get there? Can we get
ready
there?
for us tomorrow morning.
We need to, because Mike and I can say whatever we want, but we need to just shut up and listen to what they say their journey was. And we need to hear from their heart how they feel this was. I have some data, and I have some coaching comments, and I have notes and all kinds of stuff. But I want to hear what they think. And at the end of the day, how it impacted them personally.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, that's what's important.
Agreed. And I look forward to doing that tomorrow. I look forward to swinging by there, seeing what they're up to, giving them a high five, congratulating them, or whatever we find out, right? But I'm excited to see.
Us out.
You never know.
Yeah.
But that's what I want to find out.
They might kick us out, but with Tony's shoes, we'll get in.
Yeah, we'll get in. That's true.
I wear my fishing shirt. He's got his shoes. We're in shape.
It's been really great to have caught up with Dave and Mike and finding out what they think of Preece so far. But now it's time to hear from the guys at Preece themselves on how they think they've improved.
Let's talk about where we've come from and where we are. First things first, how's your personal time look now compared to what it did 6 months ago? I'd love to hear that.
It's definitely different. Tanner, I've been taking at least a day on the weekends off for probably the last month or two, which is a big difference for us. We just get to start focusing more on the business and less about us personally running parts every minute of every day, which has enabled us to, I don't know, be at home on time and go
Golf every once in a
golfing,
while.
fishing,
Yeah.
whatever.
Snowboarded last weekend, so that was cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You would hit the mountain.
Took Thanksgiving off, which is, yeah,
So,
it's different.
So what did Thanksgiving look like last year compared to this year?
I don't even remember.
I think last year we, took off the day of Thanksgiving to eat food, and then I think it was a discussion about going back after eating. We ate food and it was like, let's go back. Decided not to, but we were definitely there the next day, so we took about a day off for Thanksgiving last year.
So how was it this year?
This year we took Thursday to Sunday off.
Yeah.
We just
Wow.
stayed at home like a whole week,
Yeah.
pretty much.
4 days, wild.
Are you guys experiencing this less is more concept? Like,
Yeah,
For sure.
we're finding out that our time is way more valuable, not necessarily just running parts.
yeah.
Focusing on the part of the business that we can do.
In meeting Nick and Tanner in the beginning, they've always been brothers. They've known each other their whole lives, right? But they've been friends, and they've done business together and done some life together. But it's been neat to get over a few of the hurdles that they go through, and they did that together, and they made these choices together, and they drove their future map together and their business plan together, and they're doing so much together now that, as you heard in Tanner's clip, where he goes on and on about Nick's his best friend too, and they become closer and closer. And to be a very, very small part of what was going on in their relationship and help that become better, it's nice to see them smile and enjoy life together and pick on each other and not just jujitsu kick each other in the shins. It's great to see that, and it was fantastic to be a part of it. But I'm so proud of those guys, and I'm so happy that not just business is getting better, but their personal relationship is going to the next level.
Now, have you been able to structure the business? I mean, so you guys aren't running parts day in and day out anymore. You're helping out in the shop and doing things. But what does the balance look like now compared to when? Are you finding it more valuable, things flowing through better because you're able to manage the whole operation more? I mean, how many more people do you have now than what you had?
I don't know how many more people we've added. We've probably added 1 or 2 more people through the last 6 months, but we have, we're definitely coming up on growing pains, like with flow, but I think things are smoother. It's not as much like Tanner and I need to, like I said, every second of every day be running a part or staying late to run parts once people have gone home. Tanner and I are really focusing on growing the business and
Focusing on picking out things for ourselves, like trying to build really, really secure and processes.
Yeah.
That way it's easier for us to just kind of do management stuff or work on the business, work on getting sales, things like that. So been building a lot of processes, creating some video content, trying to do some more marketing, stuff like that.
Let me talk about value and about how we felt 6 months ago and how we feel now. I think 6 months ago, which kind of goes back to your other question, is Nick and I were kind of divided on how to quote things. And I think a big part of that for him was because he grew this shop from the ground up, just trying to get good customers in. And then he gets a customer and he's like, I don't ever want to lose this customer. I don't want to lose a single job that they send me to quote. And I came in later, and I came in from running another business. And so I came in with this idea that, not that we should overquote anything, I don't ever want to do that, but I definitely wanted to quote accurately and had this feeling that like we should be really paying attention to how much material we're using, how much tooling we're using. Things like that drive up the cost of this part. When Nick is a little bit more on the side of like trying to really please the customer, which isn't like not bad. Not that I don't want to please. I want them to have awesome parts at a great price, but I want to make money, especially if we're working 7 days a week. And so we used to have these arguments about whether to quote something higher or whether to quote something lower. And then in working with you and your team, we really nailed down how much we need to charge for something, how much is required for us to charge for something to not be here 7 days a week and not kill ourselves trying to make a part. And so I think now him and I are a lot more on the same page with how to quote something at the right price, including material, including tooling, including fixturing, setup, all that. So that's been cool.
How often are you making it home for dinner now?
I mean, I make my own dinner, but I think he
We
makes
kind of
it.
late, but we go every night. Every night
Yeah.
I go home at 7:30, which is nice.
Yeah.
Are you arguing a little less
With who?
with Elena about your time?
I never was aware that we were arguing about
Not
how long
arguing.
I was here, but
Not arguing.
I'm sure
but
she would say, yeah, we're arguing a lot less about it.
That means a lot. That means everything, right?
Yeah.
Business will come and go, but I mean, you got married. You got married during this,
Yeah, about the middle of it. Yeah.
and you were actually gone for a honeymoon. You were gone for a minute.
Yeah, took a couple days off, went up to Estes, and
That's awesome.
yeah, it was like a
That's awesome.
business owner's vacation still, though.
Yeah, I understand. I understand. It isn't like a silver bullet, you know.
Right. But I probably wouldn't have. We've definitely taken more time off this year than I probably have since I've been in business, I would say.
And your revenue during all this, your revenue has stayed the same, right? From last year to this year is about the same, but you personally are doing less than keeping the revenue where it's at, right?
Right. It's kind of like almost a step backwards, but really not really. We get to kind of remove ourselves from the day-to-day and be able to grow. Like, we can't grow with just me and Tanner working more, and so we had to remove ourselves from the equation
To focus
on the floor.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's not really a step backwards, but it kind of is like that a little bit to open up another avenue.
Right.
Yeah, because you could do something in 4 hours and one of your employees might take 6 or 7 hours, so it's probably taking longer to get things
That's what I
done.
mean, yeah.
Yeah.
One thing I'll say is it's very encouraging for me is I'm continuing to see more and more young people in their late 20s, early 30s step up to the task in manufacturing. And going through an original German tool and die apprenticeship as I have is it's different. And today it's different. Nick and Tanner have taught themselves how to machine off of YouTube, which is very different. But they were quick to raise their hand and say, let me start a business. Let us start a business. And let me do this with my brother Tanner. And I'm going to do this, and I'm not going to follow conventional ways of learning, but I'm going to take all the information that's on YouTube and social media, and I'm going to apply it, and I'm going to work day and night to make that happen. And that's something that I think all generations can really learn from. And it's very encouraging to see the young people rise up and start shops and get into manufacturing, critical manufacturing in space and defense and medical and all the really difficult parts. And to see these young people do this is amazing, and I couldn't be more happy to be on that journey with them.
What I've noticed from our calls, from our financial calls, not to get into specifics, but from our financial calls, I've noticed that your red line in the shop used to be X. Now it seems to be X plus 50%. Like, you can get about 50% more out of the shop than what you could in the very beginning.
That's probably true. We're probably getting a little bit more out of it.
I looked back a couple months ago and we got done in about 3 weeks. Way more than what you would have been able to do in a month prior. Because you guys had a fantastic spurt when a whole bunch of work came in, you were able to move through it pretty quick. And that was really good. And I've noticed also on our financial calls that your break-even point has dropped down because your revenue is better. So the revenue that you make seems like your gross margin has gone up, by my estimation, about 20% of the gross margin. And then therefore the net profit on the dollars have almost doubled from what it was.
Mm-hmm. A big part of that is thanks to you guys, been able to understand our numbers and what it costs to operate a lot more. And we're also kind of weeding out projects that aren't good fits for us. You see some projects come across that are just, they look really cool and I really want to make this part, but they're not a good fit for our shop. And so we'd spend a week working on it when it's just not a good fit because we can't bill a week for that kind of part. You know what I mean? So we're kind of cutting the parts that aren't good fits.
Trying to focus on quoting a little bit more accurately, yeah.
But we get to understand our numbers a lot more thanks to our finance calls. This journey's made us more successful because we can kind of scale. We've built processes around every little detail in our shop that are repeatable and reproducible as we continue to grow. Whereas previously it was needing to get another one of me or just, like I said, increase my hours. There's a big focus on my hours. And that was the old tactic, new tactic is kind of investing in all these little aspects so that way we can continue to grow without having to clone myself or Tanner or somebody else out on the floor. And I know I've said that a few times, but going from running parts to being managing a business is huge, because this was just a hobby for me, and it still is like my pride and joy, my baby, and my love. You know, I love it, but it's not like I'm a hobbyist just like running through life, like stumbling my way to this point. It's going
No,
from,
this is the real deal.
yeah, get to like focus on things that are important.
I remember when we first met you guys, you're like, come on, step in my office. And it was just a false wall. And
You just step in.
just step on this side. And now you got it going. Now, I mean, this is a fully functional, scalable business where you guys have your hands on the levers, you're pulling all the right levers. And when we pour sales into the top of this funnel, it's going to be fun.
Yeah, well, that's definitely, so in my opinion, like my ego around having a hobby that's grown into something, I mean, pretty significant for what it was.
Sure,
like over 6 years, it's grown into this with like no intention at all. Kind of kept me from viewing things with intention, which is what I think we're doing now, is viewing it with intention.
Nick likes to be right a lot, and he usually is, but I knew that he was a great machinist. He's a great thinker. He's a great problem solver. And I knew that it was the business side that needed help, just as far as functionality and profitability, instead of, you know, this whole story has been working 100 hours and not like seeing their value, really. And so it was nice to have someone else come in and get him to hear that you need to work on both sides, and this is where you can improve on the business side. You've already got the technician side mostly locked and loaded, but there's a second part of the business, and like, let's meld these two together to be great. So that's been nice, because I've kind of been telling him that on and off, and I'm no businesswoman by any means. So to have some professionals come in and get him to really look at it and make change and admit that he can change some things, it's been nice. Yeah.
This is Shop Rescue.
I am Andrew Lusty. I'm account executive for Datanomics. We are the next generation of production intelligence in manufacturing. Well, our slogan is make manufacturing great again, and well, the little guy is where it all starts. Every 2-guy shop, 5-machine shop turns into a 50-machine shop, and participating, right, is back to really our roots. The outcome I'd love to see is looking at even the little guys and the smaller manufacturers and understanding how they can create an ecosystem of technology that allows them to force multiply, right? And through that, right, is really all about being efficient, and that's what I think everybody here is bringing to the table.
You've gone from a job shop to a machine shop to now you're a precision machining organization.
Yeah.
It's the maturity of the back office and what you're doing on front as an owner and as ownership. Seeing a lot of maturity. You guys, well, I mean, you called me the other day talking about your business plan for next year. Hey, we talked about this. We spent the afternoon talking about this, and this is what we're doing. This is what our goals are, and this is what we got to hit. We know exactly why. These are the rocks we want to move. These are the normal meetings we're going to have. This is the structure we're going to have in our shop, and this is the revenue we're going to make. The top line revenue is sexy, and this is what we're going to do. But this is going to be profitable revenue for the next year, and that's what it's going to do for us and our families. And that's just fantastic to see. Because now you have a plan.
Yeah.
Guys, probably my favorite part of all things and all conversations and all filming is the gratitude, the joy of giving, the service that we were able to create, and seeing the smiles of those families now and brothers and the united pact that they've become, and what you guys have done for them, and what I know EBITDA Growth Systems can do for so many others. This to me is my favorite part as we close out just months and months and months of hard work. Thank you, gentlemen, for allowing MTD to be a part of it. But let's talk about how it's made you guys feel as well.
Well, I got to tell you, when Dave and I first came together, we said, hey, we've done well.
So this isn't about the money anymore. Let's have a cause. Let's give back. Let's do what we're supposed to do, what we're called to do. And so seeing what happened with Nick and Tanner is just so fulfilling because it's a validation. We said we're going to give back, and we're gonna share what we know, and we learned a lot from Nick and Tanner too. I mean, so it's been rich. It's been wonderful, and I'm just so excited to be able to tell the world that what Dave and I set out to do, we're doing, and we're going to continue to do. And if you want to be a part of it, great. We'd love to come alongside you.
I like it. Dave, how about yourself? How's this whole thing made you feel?
This has been pretty special for me because when I looked at Nick, I saw myself when I was younger and I was working 90 hours a week and not seeing my family, and when you get older, you realize how much you sacrifice. When you look in your kids' eyes, it's like, I wasn't there. So I caught on to that before all my kids were out of the house, but it took me way too long. So when I see somebody going down that path, I just want to help them. With every fiber of my being, I just want to help them. And then, Mike and I have set out to do this with as many companies as we can to make an impact. And we see it time and time again. And I called you with this crazy idea, Shop Rescue, right? And we sit in Cleveland, we said, we iron this out, this is how we're going to do it. And it's like, okay, we've seen this dozens of times with our other clients, but we've never captured it on film. So it's like, I hope this goes like all the other ones, right?
Yeah.
But then I saw something in Nick's eyes, and I was like, we can do this. And that's why I've been confident from the beginning. But to really impact lives, when you watch Elena and her talking about, this is where I was, and I really resented the shop, to now she celebrates it. And she can celebrate it alongside of her newfound husband.
She's actually working there as part-time or as something
crazy.
As well, right?
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, that is crazy. Yeah.
But it's so, it's unexplainable how rewarding it is to see these young men and this young man that just got married turn over a new leaf. And just because we were able to execute on a few things, they had a lot of guts to say, hey, I'll be the first shop to align myself with something called Shop Rescue, which makes me look helpless even though I'm not. And I'll step out there with all kinds of courage, and I'll do this, and I'll be the first one, unknowing. Basically, hey, Dave and Mike, we're going to trust you, that you're not going to make us look like fools.
With a blindfold on.
Yeah,
trusting you.
We do have to give those guys props for that, right?
They stepped up, and you know what? Those young men are going to they're going to really reach all their goals and dreams because of how they are and how they behave. We're able to teach them some basic behaviors and really lean in and give them some good advice. And I know we'll be friends for a really long time, and we keep our clients average 3 to 7 years. So I imagine we'll hang on to them for a while. But I couldn't be more proud of those guys. And it's really touching. It was really touching.
I'd like to talk a little bit about community as well, because when this was first announced, you've already mentioned, Dave, we were in Cleveland. It's kind of a far-fetched idea. Mike, you've mentioned a couple of times I didn't really believe in it right away. Maybe believe is a strong word, but certainly questioned it from the start and then started to fall into it. But we all did. And not only did the three of us, but there's a community that involved themselves in it as well, that saw an opportunity to really help. And yes, we're all on camera right now. We all get to participate in sharing a story to a very broad audience, but at the same time, it was about service from the get-go. So let's talk about the community that surrounded this whole project as well.
Well, I think Paperless stepped up. Paperless Parts, Jason Ray, I talked to Jason. Jason said, let me plug you into my marketing people. And I want you to talk to them because I think this is something we really believe in. And we want to be your premier sponsor. And he stepped up right away. And I celebrated anniversary working with Mike, and he sent me the kindest message about how we're making an impact together. And hats off to Jason and everything he's done with that company and how they were first in line to do this. Thanks to you and MTDCNC for saying, okay, we'll do this. It's a little crazy, but let's do it. Right? You can talk about Paul and Kelsey, so fabulous people. They stepped up.
Yeah, and we say that small to medium-sized manufacturers is the backbone of manufacturing, and manufacturing is the backbone of our nation. But it takes healthy companies. So all of our sponsors were, hey, we support all of our small to medium manufacturers, but the idea of us helping them to be healthier, they make better clients for us, obviously. So there's that piece, but also those guys all believe in small and medium-sized manufacturing and how important it is to our country. And so I think that was the community focus. This is going to be the first of many companies that we make healthy because they're so important to us.
But we got ERP with ProShop. We got Datanomics with the data that gave Tanner understanding of how long their setup times really were. Paul was in the shop today with Nick and Tanner, saying, hey, let me show you a couple things. Alex from Paperless, hey, let me show you a few things. Blazer stepped up and say, let me give you some oil, let me help you out. AeroX, Edge, PEG is like, hey, what can I do to help you out, help you find some people, because they're fantastic at finding people, and they're licensed in like 40 states.
And they're growing, so they needed that support, yeah.
It has been, I don't want to leave anybody out. Juergens with the quick change tooling. It's just been fabulous. And all these people, when we reached out and said, hey, because we weren't really looking for sponsors, you said, hey, people in the community want to be part of this. And you said, reach out to these people. So we did. IMTS was like, hey, we want to display this. We want to show the world that if you're a shop in need and you're hurting, we want to do this. All these people were like, you mean make a difference? We're not just selling a product, but make a difference in somebody's life at home?
Sure.
Heck yeah, let me sign up. And I've never asked for sponsors, all this stuff in the past. And they came running because they want to help. So the community between all these companies, it's a small community. We all know each other. It's a small community, but people want to help other people. Successful humans want to help other humans be successful. And that's what Mike and I do every day. That's what we want to do every day. And we are beyond blessed by having all these people saying, let me get beside you in this. So, man, this whole experience has been extremely touching.
Yeah, Tony, and you extended this reach for us, too. I mean, we've been somewhat under a bushel basket. I mean, we have a lot of clients who know us and know what we do, but we'll appreciate you extending our reach and letting more people hear our message, that you don't have to, there's more to life than just working hard, right? I mean, there's way more to life than just working hard. And that's our message.
It was neat after talking to you after some flight from Singapore with your hair like this, and you're like, sure, I'll take a call. I've been up like 36 hours, but I'll take a call. And to like, hold on a second, you guys are about people. You guys are about giving back. You guys are about impacting humanity, and it's not just transactional. And honestly, you were like, hell yeah, how do I come alongside you and help you? And and it's a friendship that'll carry on for years that I appreciate beyond words. I mean, these people have been fantastic.
Well, gentlemen, victims find victims and victors find victors.
Yes, sir.
We appreciate, all of us at MTD appreciate you guys giving us a chance to create something that's never been created before, and an opportunity to get creative along this journey.
Sure.
Get to know the guys at Preece Manufacturing. So, my friends, thank you for everything. We really do appreciate you.
Thank you.
Really close, basically best friends, but also we butt heads a lot because we're brothers. Through this journey, I think we've gotten closer.
Definitely since the project started, we've taken more time off, going home at night to eat dinner, stuff like that. Things that sound obvious now that I'm saying them out loud, but a couple months ago didn't seem super obvious.